Happy Wednesday!
Woo!
Winning Wednesday. You guys know we don't want to be like too overly positive. We still want to be relatable, but also every week you can find something to win about. Okay? Sometimes it's not easy to us either.
Yeah.
We just do it.
Yeah. Positives, because it could be so much worse. So, your winning Wednesday.
I didn't really fight with my husband this week, so that's a big win.
That is a big win.
And I did my echo. So on Friday, I had to get like an ultrasound of my heart. And it was like scary, but I had to get it done. And everything came back, I think, good. Because it goes into my chart.
If they give you the results right away.
Yeah, it goes into my chart. And so I was like, oh, it like looks good to me. So I sent it to a friend, and her like father-in-law, I think would be what he's called, is like a ultrasound person, or was. He retired. And she's like, I'm going to send it over to him. Like, it looks good to me, but we'll just double check. And she never called and said anything. So either he never looked at it, or he was like, everything's good. And then,
Yeah, I'm sure everything is good.
Busy adults. But I had one back in high school, and that was good too. And she said, and the appointment went faster than it was like even supposed to. So I was like, I feel like that's a good sign.
That is a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Yours?
Mine was making it to the gym every morning. I did eat better, not perfect, but I did eat better than I did prior week. I did meal prep a little bit, and then I spent some quality time with John, and then, yeah, I mean, with the kids too, I feel like we had a pretty good week.
Mm-hmm.
We started... Did I say that last week episode about our song?
Oh, yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, so we continued to do our good day song in the morning. I feel like that always brightens the mood and gets my kids walking out the door for school. Good.
They were singing it, too. When I stopped over there the other day, they were, like, in the kitchen singing it together.
Yeah, I mean, they sing it all the time now.
So cute.
So, love that.
I did have, like, a little bit of a mental breakdown Friday morning. So, basically, we went to the gym and came home, and I had to, like, do whatever I had to do, and I had a play date with a mom, and I had my echo and whatever, and I was like, I'm never going to be tan enough, I'm never going to be, whatever enough, why do I even go to the gym, like... In the grand scheme of things, when you look at, like, transformations videos, it's usually, like, years and years that people, like, you just see it, and you, like, Amazon Prime culture, like, want it right like that. But, it takes work. You gotta put the work in, even when you're not seeing the results, because really, like, you are in some way. Like, you just have to, like, dig deep to find it. So, I, like... cleaned up the kitchen really quick, gave the girls showers, got them to school, got my grocery shopping done, went home, and I put like one of those clay masks like on my face, in my armpits. I put Nair on my legs. I put teeth whitening strips in. I like took a big shower. Then I got out, put my self tanner on, which that was kind of like bugging me because I was like putting the self tanner on, before the birthday party. Then it was a swimming birthday party. Then I like was putting it on, and
so chlorine.
I know. Well, yeah, and then I had that thing. So they had the ultrasound jelly on me. So I'm going to a concert, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be all messed up because of the ultrasound jelly. Like, I was just like, I sweat at the gym and I shower, blah blah blah, and I was just like so mad about this. Wanting to be tan, and yeah, basically.
You get so tan too. So for you, like, yeah, you may not be like your tannest now. I mean, it's still winter.
I want to be dark.
Spring. Yeah, but you'll get there.
But I'm a Mexican.
Oh my goodness.
So I always wanted tan. But yeah, I had whatever. And then it's like, you really can't just trust anything that you see on the internet. People always say that to me, and I always hate that. But like, so I look at the YouTube videos. We're going into this right away. You see these?
Also, circle back real fast.
Yeah.
We need to take photos.
Oh, for the gym?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
So, because I see a change in you and you don't.
Mm-mm.
And I do.
That circles back to the body dysmorphia. Literally, I usually don't care, but like random days, and it was like day 2 of, Aunt Flo, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, probably that's why I was not feeling that great yesterday,
Yeah.
But it's fine.
For sure. I mean, at the gym, you weren't feeling good either.
I know. Oh, I was thinking, we were talking about I was thinking and telling you about maybe doing some stuff about like stuff around our period. Like seed cycling or some tea stuff or like working out.
I was telling John about this yesterday and he's like, I don't get it.
No.
I'm like, of course you would.
But I do listen to some podcasts that talk about it, and I'm like, maybe I need to like get into that because so I said this to Vanessa already, but you guys obviously were not in the gym with us. If you read our like workout journal from like 2 weeks ago, I was like, sexy mama, you got this, blah, blah, blah. And then last week I was like, up your weight, you're not sweating enough, like get it, go harder, like double your weight, triple your sets, like, and then then I start my period and it's like, yeah, I want to lessen the weight. I want to just go on a walk. Like I ain't trying hard.
Yeah.
So I just get on so many tangents now. I feel like I don't even know, but
no, that's good though. I mean, that's her life. This is her brain.
it's not really a great place in there. But I wanted to give some updates to the birthday party. So the moms that I messaged that I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry that I did not see you the last day before spring break and get you these invitations. Some of them came and some of them couldn't make it, and it's perfect. I don't have to feel like guilty about not messaging them and then like hearing about it and being like, oh my gosh, why didn't I get invited? I didn't want any like hurt feelings. So I was a little bit embarrassed to like message, but it wasn't like that bad because now I don't have to worry about them having like feelings about it.
Right.
I thought I bought way too many water bottles and was going to return some. In fact, I did not. We had like the perfect amount of water bottles. So that was good because I had to go to 3 Walmarts and like bought all of the ones that they had.
The kids love the water bottles. Peyton took hers to school this week. And then like when we were giving the kids drinks while they're eating their pizza at the party, they wanted me to fill their water bottles.
Yeah. A lot of the moms were like, this is such a great idea. What the heck? If you watch YouTube, randomly we get thumbs up and thumbs down, and I don't know how to take them out of the video. And it doesn't when you put a thumb up, like, it just randomly... I don't know why and how it does it. But I did buy the wrong glue, so I was going to have 2 little crafts. I was going to give sunglasses, which we had the exact amount of sunglasses I needed. And I was going to be, like, they could either glue, like, summer or happy or their name. Like, I got, I don't even know, 1,000 beads. And then I got little charms. And the glue that I bought was wrong. So, whatever. Just a couple hiccups. One kid almost drowned. Vanessa saved the day. It's not funny, but...
It's not funny.
She did jump in there.
I did jump in. Got all wet when I wasn't gonna. It's good.
Yeah. You were in your swimsuit, though, at least.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I was, like, far away, and then she just, like, goes in, and I'm like, well, he's safe now.
Yeah.
Vanessa
so
saved
scary.
the day. It was scary. It was kind of terrifying having so many kids. Like, so I was thinking next year if my kids want to do this again, I would rent a pool. And we have one pool in the area that's like cheap. No, they just did a bunch of renovations. Now you have to order your food from there. The price went way up, blah, blah, blah. I was looking into a different pool. It's like $250 an hour to like rent this other pool. So I don't know what we're going to do. My girls kind of want to like go back to the same place. But I was thinking if I rented out like a whole pool, I could just put on the invitation like your family is welcome. And then they did, the one pool that I was looking at said to have a lifeguard. It was an extra $25 an hour.
That's not bad.
And I was like, yeah, like, would I want a lifeguard? I don't know. So we'll see what happens next year with this whole birthday party things. And my oldest just wants to go to the mall. So easy breezy. Beautiful cover girl. Get it.
My lows, so I'm still working on getting caught up with the household chores and doing laundry, still drowning in laundry.
Always.
But I also really need to do kind of like a purge for Sawyer's clothes, because I think he has a lot of junk still and he'll wear it for pajamas. So I just need to lessen that.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have so many options. Same with Peyton. I think I need to start like bringing out her warmer stuff, like her summer clothes, and just doing that transition. Same with me. So I'll be working on that probably this weekend, but it's also really nice outside, so I'm struggling with that. So I still want to be able to get outside. Allergies are back full force. So my eyes have been super itchy. Also, John has been sleeping with the window open, so I wake up just like, I don't even know how to explain the feeling. Do you get it? Like, where you're just like tight and pressure and congested and you feel like disgusting in the morning? That's how I've been waking up every morning. But all in all, I mean, it was a pretty good week, I would say. I mean, even with my little bit of lows.
Yeah.
I feel good.
Oh, back to this. Did I even say what it was? What was going on?
I don't think you did.
I saw a TikTok video yesterday, okay? It was an ad for L'Oreal, like, hair care. What was it called? L'Oreal? I don't know. Basically, it's this little can, like, almost like dollar store by the Halloween section, like when you can spray that stuff in your hair. They have this for it's root touch-up or something. So you spray here, and there's all these makeup influencers and all these people that are like, I'm like, dang, you really cannot believe anything you see on the internet.
So it just fills in her hair.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't understand what you were exactly saying before.
Before I showed you the...
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, you go in there and you just hold this can and go, shh, and it goes, brunk, and then that would be brown. So, you, like, yeah, it wouldn't look all whatever. I don't care. I'm like, Tanisha, you can do it. You can do your hair and makeup for 1 day a week. You got this. And tonight I'm going to Milwaukee with some friends. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to do my hair and makeup twice in 1 day. Like, who does that? And I'm also not going to do my hair and makeup at 6 a.m. and then trust it to still be good at 8 p.m. No, thank you. So the podcast is getting this El Natural, and I'll go hard tonight.
I love your curls. I think your hair is cute.
And then on the next line of business, as we sit here, last week we did talk a little bit. I think it was last week. I hope it was last week about like lying when kids lie, and I got some stuff off Pinterest. Number 1, it said don't take them personally. So basically, like, if a kid is like lying, it's just because they like want to get away with the lie, not because they're like, oh, it's mom and I'm gonna lie to mom, or oh, it's dad. Like, you know what I mean? So that was the number 1 thing on the list.
I mean, I don't think the kids feel like intentful. Like, I don't ever take it like that when Sawyer lies to me.
Yeah, this was just the Pinterest list.
But yeah, I mean,
number 2
still makes me mad.
Number 2 was don't take it. Oh wait, no. It was don't punish too severely. So like, I think Josh will like just say the most outlandish stuff, and it's like because he wants them to listen, but when you go that severe and they know you're not going to actually do it, now they're not going to like believe any of your punishments.
Yeah. John says the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're never going on your PlayStation ever again. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously that's not, I mean, yeah, he's not going to follow through with that. So I do believe that the kids don't believe that. I think the kids are like, kind of like that with me a little bit. Yeah. I don't really say like crazy things, but I think they don't believe me. So then when I really follow through, they're like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I walked Kenzie out of a store, and...
Oh, I've done that.
I, like, never have before, and it was, like, the most craziest thing. But then she's like, please, mommy, please, like, I will never do it again, blah, blah, blah. And, like, her and Elena were like both apologizing, and I said, this is the absolute last strike. Like, I don't know, because I didn't really give them any chances before that. I just walked in, they were instantly not behaving, and I was like, okay, like, this isn't gonna be fun, we're not gonna get what we want to get, we're either gonna get way too much or whatever. So I was like, let's just ski out of here, go home, we can like do this another day. And then they really were like, dang, because I've like never done something like that before.
Yeah, I mean, I've left like a full cart before.
Yeah, my mom's done that with me way back.
And it's very embarrassing, and I just like let the person know, like at the door. But they normally see, because I'm carrying a screaming, kicking child. But I mean, punishment's hard. It's very hard to figure out what types of punishment for each action, because I feel like you have to punish different depending on what they did.
Yeah. This is like a big, I don't know. This is like a big, like, you and I feel like your spouse need to like sit and conversate, and then it's like each time something happens, you need to like reevaluate. So it's like never like set in stone, I feel like, either too. You know, because like 2 kids in high school, like all 3 of my kids will probably have different behaviors. So we're going to have to address it each time. And it's like your first chance, okay, whatever. Then your second chance, it's like, dang, now this is becoming a habit. Like,
right. And like, obviously then you think like, okay, they're not learning from it. So then what can I do differently? And then you're now trying to make it a little bit more severe, which what's too severe? And then, I don't know, we've been trying lately with Sawyer, especially because he gets really upset quickly. So if he's more down on himself than anyone else.
Yeah.
So it's like, take a minute, like, let's separate, and then we can come back, and then we'll talk about like the action and how he sees fit for like the punishment, like what he thinks, and then we go from there. And that's been working, I feel like, better.
We've done that before too, asked our kids what they think their punishment should be. Yeah.
And then just making sure they're understanding like what they did wrong, so they can learn from it.
Yeah. The next thing was not to say, like, do as I say, not as I do. So basically, you don't want to, like, say to your kids, like, do as I say, but then, like, act however you're going to fucking act.
Children learn from our actions. I don't think they comprehend our words as much. So that's just a silly saying to me that...
That's a boomer saying.
It is a boomer saying, yes.
You're a boomer.
It's like the Matilda saying, which I said the other day to my kid.
What?
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're small, and there's nothing you can do.
I'm right, you're wrong. There's nothing you can do about it. The next is, it just gives an example. I don't know why this was its own bullet point, but it was basically like, if it says child 13 and younger, or if the child's 13, but it says 12 and under, eat for free, and then you're like, oh, like, we're going to go in here and say you're 12.
You're teaching your kid to lie.
Yeah.
Yes, I've thought of that.
So this does kind of get repetitive. Then the next thing was, don't set your kids up to lie. So basically, like, if you know they didn't brush their teeth, don't say, did you brush your teeth? And then when they say yes, you're mad that they lied. Like, you just set them up to lie. Like, so basically... It, like, gave that as an example.
That makes sense. You know, I just had that, like, I just talked about having your kids lie. Like, with Sawyer, I don't know if he didn't want to go to practice or something one time, and they're like, just tell them I'm sick. Oh, it was because he missed tutoring. And he's like, just tell the tutor that I was sick. And I'm like, no, I am not lying for you.
Yeah.
You were not sick. You forgot. Like, that is all you simply have to say. You weren't there. You forgot. Move on with it.
Yeah. And then the last was, like, if they come to you and say, like, a mistake that they had made, don't just go straight to, like, harsh punishment. Like, you should, like, if they come to you with a confession, you talk about it, and, like...
For sure.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, kind of, I think, like, if they're coming to you, that's, like, they're scotch-free, kind of.
Yeah, and you want them to practice that in the future. Like, you want them to be able to do that when things start to get even more difficult.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that as a teenager, I could come to my mom with anything, and she was a safe space, and I knew I probably wouldn't get punished, but she would talk it out with me.
Yeah.
Whereas my dad, I would be grounded for life. Like, car taken away, everything. Like, you know what I mean? My dad was very harsh. I mean, my dad used to, like, follow me around, so. So he knew if I was lying, and he knew all the stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that was just, I mean, a little circle back on that, because kind of we just brought it up a little bit, and I didn't, like, I didn't look into anything. So I was like, oh, let me just, I'm on Pinterest already searching for things about, like, siblings fighting. Let me just look about a little blurb about lying. And that was, like, I don't know. I saved, like, a couple just little things and then made that list. So.
Yeah. My kids fight.
I think that when I really think about our children fighting, I think my hypothesis is your kids are going to fight the way that you and your husband fight. And I said to Vanessa, we need to circle back. I feel like once I say something in the beginning, I like repeat it so much throughout the podcast, like the rest of the episode. But I want to, when we have a big following, be like, do your kids, when you look inward and like look in the mirror, self-reflection, do your kids fight the way that you and your husband fight? I think when I think about the way my kids fight, yeah, they totally fight exactly how me and Josh fight. It's a big explosion and it's done and over with. You know? How do you and John fight? How do your kids fight?
I don't know. So Sawyer is very much like John. Sawyer picks. John picks. Like, they just, like, pick at you until you, like, break, right?
Yeah.
And Sawyer definitely does that with Peyton quite often. Peyton's just annoyed. And, yeah, probably. That's how I probably am. Annoyed. And just, like, then kind of, like, I don't explode, but I'm like, get away! Like, like, I'm just like, quit, stop, I've had enough. So I guess Peyton would be kind of like that. I was trying to think last night, because Peyton she's been, like, a little emotional lately, and kind of, like, sassy. Bad than normal. So yesterday we were trying to, like, pick a movie to watch, and she was just upset about it, and she's like, Mom, I can't do this anymore. Just pick a movie. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I have definitely said that, because I hate making choices and I get overwhelmed. And
yeah.
So yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Self-reflection.
They do, but how am I going to change that?
So I have one child who's more quick to anger. I have one child who kind of tries to like go into like manipulation. And I have one child who brings something up from 2 months ago. She's like, you asked me to get your socks 2 months ago, and I went upstairs and got your socks, and now you're asking me to do something else. And we're like, dang, girl, if you don't want to do it, like, say no. Yeah. No one is forcing you to do anything you don't want to do. And if you don't want to do it, just say no. Like, other people can't read your mind. And then if you're going to hold a resentment, especially don't do it. Right? Yeah. So basically the way Josh and I fight is one of us says like I can't really exactly think about examples, but Josh will like, I don't know. It'll be like, you never clean, or I'll say like, you never blah blah, and then it like escalates a little, and then usually the person who's mad just like takes over the madness, and then once they're done saying everything they need to say, it like fizzles out and is like over with. It's kind of like they got it off their chest.
Totally forgotten. Yeah. I think you guys go for blood at first, and maybe that's not like the correct term because it's not that bad, but like you guys will say all the things that you're mad about, like blah blah blah. You don't do this, you don't do that. You know, and then and then you guys are like, oh, I love you. And I'm like, what just happened?
No one gets it. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, you guys just get over stuff so quickly. And I'm like, yeah, we do, but like, is that really bad? I don't know. Maybe we're toxic. Maybe we're making it work.
I don't know.
So like, okay, yeah, the one time he like came home and I was basically like, everything's all your fault. And I just said all this stuff. And he just like takes it, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was done. I said what I needed to say. I got my feelings off my chest. He did not take it personally. We moved on. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely have, like, an understanding.
And
like,
that's kind of like how our kids are. Usually it's one of them mad. So that's kind of two. Like, usually one of them is mad about something, and the other ones, like, aren't that bothered by it. So whoever's mad just takes the stage and is mad and bothered and unhappy and angry. And then once they're done, they're done. Mm-hmm. It's done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad.
I don't know that it's necessarily healthy. We'll find out. One day I'll go to counseling.
Yeah. I don't know. With my kids fighting, they just, like, they fight so much. And I struggle with, like, I know I shouldn't say that, but I feel like Sawyer kind of, like, starts it. Mm-hmm. Maybe not starts it, but he, like, keeps it going. You know what I mean? And he's the more loud one. Mm-hmm. And so I think I struggle with, like, yelling at him first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You definitely do.
And then, you know, and then Sawyer's like, oh, of course you didn't yell at Peyton. Like, she's your angel. Like, you just love her more. I'm like, no, but she's not the one creating, like, this big ruckus. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where my issues come from with, like, anxiety, is that's where I go, like, freak out, because I can't take all, like, the noise and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have been realizing that it is Peyton. And Peyton definitely has been playing it more, where, like, she'll cry, and I know she's really not crying, or so she's trying to get him in trouble, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so I'm struggling a little bit with that, but they fight quite often. Like, honestly, like, if we have a day off together or something, it's challenging how much they fight and just go at each other's throat, to the point where I'm like, never taking you guys somewhere again. Like, we are never going, like, shopping together. Because they just fight and fight and fight and fight. So, but I also look at it, my sister and I were very close in age when we were kids, and we used to fight. So but we're now best friends. So that's something I have to look forward to.
I think sisters, that's like a thing. I have cousins who, like, fought a lot younger, and now they're, like, besties, like, locked in for life.
But people also say about, like, Sawyer, like, how he's such a good brother. Mm-hmm. I'm like, come to my house for a day. You will think different.
Yeah, well, I was at that play date yesterday, and she was, like, saying basically how she doesn't think that, like, the age range or the gender makes a difference on how close they'll be. It's personalities. Because she has, like, a girl, a boy, and a boy. And the older girl and the older boy both really get along with the younger boy. Like, the youngest boy. Mm-hmm. But the older girl and the older boy, like, they do not get along together. And she was, like, saying how it's, like, personalities. And I was like, oh, yeah. And so in looking through the Pinterest stuff, I'm just going to go through the list, like, quickly. Like, this first. It said, like, things that siblings have conflicts over. It was jealousy, unwilling to share, self-esteem, needing attention, personality differences, hurt feelings, unresolved anger, screen usage, either unmonitored or, like, an overdose of screen usage, age difference, boredom, no household boundaries, mental health. And it's like, I was, like, kind of picking through some of the fights that my kids do have. Yeah. Sometimes it is over jealousy. Sometimes, you know, it is like, oh, dang, I think, you know, that one kid is having, like, a self-esteem about that thing. And we, for the longest time, really were trying to do one-on-one time with each of the girls. And it kind of like fell off the wagon, and we keep talking. Basically, we all want Josh's attention. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it needs to be like Tuesdays or something, just because that's the night that we don't have any activities. And it'd be like, one Tuesday is a date with Mom. The next Tuesday, something with Brooklyn. The next Tuesday, something with Elena. The next Tuesday, Kenzie. And then start over. Date with Mom, like Brooklyn, Elena, Kenzie. And like Josh gives each one of us like one-on-one time.
Yeah.
I don't know, like my girls really all like love their dad. And kind of yesterday when I was like losing it a little bit, I like said to Brooklyn, and I was like, hey, like I can't go back in the past and like change it. And I know like what I say like can be wrong and like this, that, and the other. And I'm like, and I know like this is exactly why like Brooklyn is always like, I love my dad, like screw my mom. Like if you guys were both falling off a cliff, like I would definitely choose dad, like all this stuff. And people are like, dang, like your oldest daughter, like that's, and it's like, yeah, self-reflection. Like I will like kind of fly off sometimes, and Josh will have his explosions. It's not like he never has them, but mine are more frequent like than Josh's are. So I'm like, you know.
Yeah, and then Josh is probably there like after to kind of make things better.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, yeah, like, and Josh is just like fun, like video games, candy, Mountain Dew, blah, blah, blah. So doesn't care. Like when so they used to fight to brush their hair, and it would be like me versus the whole family, where now Josh is like, girls, just brush the hair. Or like taking pictures. It would be like me who wants a smiling picture, and Josh would like feed into their not caring about taking a smiling picture, where now he's like, girls, like, you know, your mom just wants this picture. The faster we just smile, the faster it's done and over with. So, because he cares like about my happiness. So it's like, yeah, I mean, I think you need to take into consideration like the whole dynamic. I don't think there's like one thing, kind of like we were saying with the lying. Like there's not going to be one punishment forever and ever that's like the golden punishment. Like it's kind of forever evolving, forever changing. And I think that's how like my fights with my husband, my fights with any of my kids, like my kids fighting together, like that. I mean, I'm trying to think if there was like other thoughts that I was trying to remember when we were having this conversation. But it's just, you know, everything day by day as a parent.
I think my biggest thing for the sibling conflicts is the boredom. Like that was just a big realization for my kids, because it is when my kids are bored that they fight more often. Like and especially with Sawyer not being able to be on his PlayStation, like he is in. Like, he's more... Like, Peyton's always by me. You know that. Yeah. Like, when I'm at home, Peyton is by me. Sawyer's normally, like, in his room playing video games, playing basketball, things like that. And now they're together more. So they're fighting more. So maybe if I set aside, like, things to do, they wouldn't be bored and fight. Because I think that is what he does. And that is one of the first things that Sawyer actually does say when I'm, like... Stop, like, picking on your sister. And he'll be like, but I'm bored.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I mean, my kids don't...
game nights, things like that.
My kids don't get bored. And, like, people might be like, oh my God, did you really just say your kids don't get bored? No, because you know what they'll do? Kenzie and Elena will lock themselves in the bathroom with the Sharpie and Sharpie the whole back door. They'll take a whole roll of toilet paper and get it sopping wet and, like, stick it to the back of the bathroom door. They will, like... mix shampoo and conditioner and tanning lotion and like they will go to a room.
Chaos and boredom.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess they probably are bored and that's why they're doing that. But they won't. My kids have like never came to me and said I'm bored.
Sawyer has to be doing something all the time. And John literally just said that to him yesterday. Like, I don't understand why you have to be doing something all the time. Yeah. I forget, Sawyer wanted me to take him somewhere last night. And I'm like, dude, it's 7 o'clock at night. You just got done with baseball practice. Like, what could we even do right now? Yeah. Like, I don't know, like, he wants to go to the park. He wants to go on a bike ride. He wants to, like, he's just so active. So keeping him contained is quite difficult.
Yeah. The, like, little steps that they kind of gave in this Pinterest thing were, like, demonstrate and model conflict resolution, don't label your children, which literally we used to label Elena the owie girl. And then I read some parenting thing somewhere about, like, not labeling your children, and I was like, dang, we need to stop.
So is that, like, when, like, calling Peyton sassy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom actually says that.
I
Like,
wanna
if you
meet your
call
mom.
her sassy, she's gonna be sassy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my mom has definitely said that.
Yeah, and they say that, like, about the terrible twos, too. Don't call it terrible twos. Call it terrific twos. So I did. Like, I wouldn't let people call it terrible twos. So, we used to call Elena owie girl. Like, any, you know, she'd trip and fall and this and that. And then 2 broken arms. And people were always like, put her in a bubble. And she got really, like, self-conscious about that. So we had to, like, put an end to that. And so the stop labeling.
Gosh, you know, it's just hearing it from this.
Yeah.
Like, it just clicks more. Mm-hmm. And even though my mom has said it so many times. Yeah. So now thinking of how a child thinks, like, they just need someone else to tell them to.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why I do, like, when I have these parenting things, I really do go on Pinterest. I feel like a boomer saying Pinterest, but I'm like, I go on Pinterest, I look these up, and I try to figure out, like, how I can, like, implement it into my life. Apologies are essential. I'm horrible with apologies. Josh is amazing with apologies, so we got that going for us, I guess.
I feel like you're getting better with apologies.
Kind of trying. Josh, like, tells me to apologize.
I always apologize. I apologized the other day. But I did it in a bad way. And I, like, was, like, super cringed after. Because I went to Peyton and said, I'm sorry, I'm such a bad mom. Because I, like, had an explosion. Yeah. And I was immediately like, that's not an apology. Now I just put that on her. Yeah. And because, of course, she's like, you're not a bad mom, you're the best mom. Like, I'm like, ugh. Ooh. I shouldn't have said that.
My kids be like, you are the worst mom. And then Josh will be like, she's not a bad mom. But one of my kids will be like, you're a bullshit mom. You're blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, thanks. Thanks for telling me that's how you feel. Have them practice being calm. Have them practice using distractions. Have them practice creating a safe space for them to connect. Which, when we were at the gym talking about this topic, I said, what example did I use? I'm like, I kind of do distract them. So my kids were fighting like before the birthday party, and 2 of them were crying, and I called one into the kitchen by me when I was doing dishes, and we, like, I don't know, did our gratefuls, talked about, like, whatever. And then the other kid that was in the living room was like, you don't love me as much. And so I had them flip-flop. And then in the end, they, like, found a game that they wanted to play while we were waiting for the birthday party to happen. So I, like, don't make the fights a big deal either. Like, I'm not, like, the type of person to, like, text. I had, like, a person who used to, like, text me, my kids have been fighting all day, and it's like, well, have they really been fighting all day, or are you only choosing to acknowledge the times that they've been fighting? Because you've also been on TikTok, you've also been reading a book, you've also been doing chalk, blah blah blah. Like, your kids probably haven't actually been fighting all day, you know?
Yeah, and if they are, why? I mean, I think that's where we need to be better as parents. Like, why are they fighting? Like, what, you know, to try to
it's hard too, because I'm always like, give us grace, like, no mom's perfect, like, we're all just trying our best. And at the same time, it is like, sometimes it is like, put that mirror on yourself, you know?
I think a lot of times, yes, it is self-reflection time. And yes, give yourself grace. I mean, we all have moments, right? Yeah. But, like, day to day, how are we reacting, and how are we learning from those moments? I think that is the biggest thing.
Another thing was remind them who they are. That was like, say, like, you know, you're a good big brother, you're a good big sister, you're good at sharing, you're, like, You're a kind person. You're a smart person. Like, remind them who
I
they
do
are.
that to Sawyer
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Like, when he's calling his sister names, I'm like, you're the kid that sticks up for the kid that is being called names. Like,
Yeah.
you are not the kid that calls kids names.
Mm-hmm.
So I do say things like that to my kids, and like the getting them to calm down is one of our biggest things too. And they practice that in school. I don't know if they do that at your school, but like,
Oh, they do now.
when they're mad, like
Yeah.
they'll take breaths.
When I went to school, we never did.
No,
but
we
my
didn't do
kids
that
do.
either. But now they
Yeah.
have like different like breathing techniques and like different spaces they can go to and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So we practice that at home. They give us a lot of like worksheets about it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of behavioral issues at my kids' school. So, yeah, so just practicing at home helps them practice it at school.
One was like practice gratitude, which I have my kids do their gratefuls all the time. But I have a story from a coworker. She always used to say, so she had 3 daughters, and she used to be like, you guys are so lucky to have a sister. Like, I only have 2 brothers. I didn't have a sister. Like, one day you guys are going to be in each other's weddings. Like, look how lucky you are to have a sister. And she was saying, like, every weekend she would be saying that, like, holidays, like, all the time. She would always tell her kids, you're so lucky to have a sister. I never had a sister. So I do try to like also throw that in there to my kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's a best friend forever.
Mm-hmm. But also, so like when we are doing our gratefuls, and I don't know if this is like a good parenting thing or like maybe it's a fail. When we're doing our gratefuls, sometimes one of them will say like, I'm grateful for this sister, and they don't say that they're grateful for the other sister. And I just kind of like let them. Like, I don't force them to be grateful for both of their sisters every day. Like, Mackenzie pretty much always says, like, I'm grateful for mommy's job. I'm grateful for daddy's job. Like, those are pretty much always 2 of her gratefuls. And the girls sometimes will say that they're grateful for their siblings, they're grateful for their family, they're grateful for mom, they're grateful for dad. But if they only say grateful for dad, I do not also make them say grateful for mom. If they only pick one of their sisters and not the other, I do not like make them.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, that makes sense. Because it is like their feelings.
Yeah.
And what they're grateful for at that moment.
So sometimes, I mean, usually, I don't want to like say my kid's business that much, but usually it'll be like Brooklyn saying, I'm grateful for daddy, and then Elena being like, you're not grateful for mom. And then I'm like, Elena, it's fine, like, she's grateful for daddy. And then sometimes Brooklyn will say, I'm also grateful for mom. Other times she's like, I'm not grateful for mom. Like, or she'll be like, I'm only grateful for daddy. Like, and I don't make her or say anything to make her have feelings either way or the other. Like, if you only want to be grateful for your dad, cool. And sometimes Brooklyn will be like, I'm grateful for my siblings. I'm grateful for my entire family. I'm grateful for, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing it, it depends on the day and their mood, really, right?
Yeah. And I just let them, you know, feel their feelings.
Mm-hmm. Feelings. I love feelings. I'm big with feelings.
The other things were like set expectations, use examples, learn how to learn each other. I mean, yeah, I love Pinterest.
I like Pinterest.
Yeah.
But I don't do it for like that stuff.
For parenting stuff? I have so many boards about parenting stuff.
No, I'm very much food, outfit ideas, decorating my house, even though.
See, I think I pretty much only use Pinterest for parenting stuff and not for, like, that kind of stuff because I was 18 and pregnant and wanted to, like, you know, try and be a good mom.
Yeah.
So I was very much like, how to breastfeed, how to, like, blah, blah.
Yeah, I just Google all that.
Have a non-medicated birth and all that stuff.
I don't think I'm using Pinterest to its fullest.
Mm-hmm. So, isn't it a search engine?
Yeah.
It's not like social media, right?
Right.
So I really like go to Pinterest, like homeschool 4K or like tot school, all these different things. Like, those are like all my boards. But those are our thoughts. We love you. We hope you resonated. We hope you loved this episode.
Yes. And if you have anything to add or share, we'd love to hear it. just trying to be better 1% every day.
And if you're vibing, let us know. If you're not, also let us know.
Yeah, we're here to learn.
We love you. Goodbye.
Love you. Bye.